totally cool. I got this in the mail yesterday from Mark Hack. I think that's how you pronounce your name. It's H-A-A-C-K. Another unexpected gift. Thank you, Mark. This is a dust deputy. It's a dust separator kind of thing, you know? What you do is you hook it up to your shop vac. This is really cool. I'm gonna have to figure out how to set it all up now. The best part about this, let me show you. The dust deputy won the Cyclone Separator Shootout by the Wood Whisperer. So hey, you got that going for it. If anybody's used one of these, let me know what you think. It looks like a great setup. Thanks again, Mark. Oh, I want to show you something else. Okay, so I needed to get a Sawzall blade. All of my Sawzall blades are always broken. I just use them until they bend and they go. So anyways, I went to my hardware store and this one blade cost $6 and it was the cheapest one that I could find, but I knew I would just be damaging it. Well, right after I went to the hardware store, we went over to Costco. Look what Costco had. It's this entire set of, it has 30 blades in it. It cost me $18. I don't know if they're good blades or not, but for 18 bucks, you can't go wrong. Save my receipt for this one, I'm gonna return it. I thought I'd do something a little bit different this week on this video and open it up to discussion because of a letter I received from Frank Tart yesterday, a real thoughtful email regarding creativity and technology and how the two relate, and especially regarding CNC machines. Now, I know the topic of CNC machines has been talked to death in a lot of woodworking forums, and there's kind of a couple different camps of people who come down on different sides of the issue, and I just thought I would try to explore my own personal philosophy on it and how it's kind of changed. For those of you who don't know, a CNC machine is a computerized numerical cutter, something like that. I don't know, you can Google it. You would design something on your computer. I suppose it has some proprietary software, or maybe you could just design an Illustrator or something. I don't know, I've never used one, but you would just feed that design directly into the CNC router, and it's like a plotter, and it'll just it'll cut out your shapes for you, so you'll have a perfect cuts, you know, every time. And of course, the natural question that arises is, well, is that really woodworking if you're just pushing a button? And my first reaction was, well, yeah, that's not really woodworking, is it? I mean, that machine's doing all the work for you. But then as I started to think about it over time and over the years, and I start to think, well, you know, there's a lot of my tools that's all I do. I mean, I think of my planer, all I do is turn it on and feed wood. I don't even have to push the wood through it. It just pulls it through automatically and planes it down. But it saves me the toil of having to smooth down a board or flatten it with a hand plane. And I could also tell you that some woodworkers have questioned whether what I do is real woodworking, because I'm not typically making, you know, complex joints or dovetails or anything like that. And I use pocket hole jigs and, you know, slap wood together in various ways using pallet wood and that sort of thing. I get accused sometimes of just doing arts and crafts like this last week's project. So it's something I've thought about, is what is woodworking? And I've come to the conclusion that woodworking is just anything that you build using wood. It's as simple as that. I don't think that the tools we use define woodworking. I don't think the methods we use to cut the wood defines woodworking. And so I've kind of come around on CNC machines, and I don't really see them as a threat to woodworking at all, any more than what I'm doing at Woodworking for Mere Mortals is a threat to traditional woodworking. I think the craft of woodworking is always going to be around. It's just different ways that we approach the same thing, and I think something like a CNC machine can actually expand the craft of woodworking. And just because a CNC machine cuts the wood, you still have to assemble it. I also think we have to ask ourselves whether using a CNC machine is a creative process. Well, of course it is, because you have to actually design something before you can feed it into the machine. It's the same thing we all do on all of our woodworking projects. The creativity is really what defines the woodworking. One of my goals with Woodworking for Mere Mortals is to expand the notion of woodworking to include a lot of different things that all have to do with wood. So I'm not going to accuse anybody of not being a true woodworker by the methods that they use to cut the wood. I think any kind of high-tech tool is always going to have a place in a professional construction environment. But that's not what I'm most concerned with on Woodworking for Mere Mortals, because my entire show is geared towards hobbyists. Right now, CNC machines are fairly expensive and probably not something that most garage woodworkers would afford. If the price came down on a CNC machine to where it was affordable, didn't take up a lot of space, and say was about the price of a table saw, maybe $400 or $500, would you want one in your shop and would you use it? And I could tell you I would probably use a CNC machine if it was cheap enough, but I don't think I would use it a lot. I kind of think I would use it more like my scroll saw for certain cuts. For one thing, you're kind of limited on the size of the pieces you can run through it. But I could think of all sorts of really fun designs I could certainly do on a CNC machine. Ultimately, as a hobbyist, I think the question comes down to, is it fun? Because that's really what we're doing all of this for anyways, is just as a relaxing hobby, to have fun, make something. And if your idea of fun is using a CNC machine, or your idea of fun is using a handsaw to get really in touch with the wood, or if your idea of fun is using a table saw, it doesn't matter. As long as you're having fun and enjoying what you're doing, you're a woodworker. I'd love to hear your opinions and your thoughts on technology in the workshop, and please leave your comments and your thoughts down below in the comment section. Please be nice to each other. I know this can kind of be like politics and religion when it comes to woodworking, and kind of like a saw stop too. It's one of those things my grandmother always told me not to discuss among friends: politics, religion, and CNC machines. Anyways, I'd love to hear what you have to think. Leave a comment down below and let's hash it out.